really starting to ramp up here. It is located literally right around Van Alstyne right now, where we're seeing that counterclockwise rotation. Kylie, anything from the chat session there? You've got that dialed up? Anything?
Yeah, Dan, I am monitoring the chat session right now. And the one thing that I do want to mention is that, first off, this tornado warning in effect through 10:15. You can tell from that latest radar scan, see that bright blue, green next to the red. It does look like maybe that rotation broadened slightly, but it's enough of a wraparound for the National Weather Service keeping an eye on this area of rotation. So again, right now, thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. This is radar indicated rotation, was located near Van Alstyne, so that's going to be about 12 miles south of Sherman. Movement right now to the south and east at 25 miles per hour. So I'm going to take this in a little bit more, and we'll track that out a little bit closer to that street level. Again, I'm taking it from the area of rotation that's just to the north and west of Van Alstyne, tracking to the south and east at about 25 miles per hour. Looks like maybe up near Cook County, reporting a wind gust of 76 miles per hour.
Yeah, we got that. That's actually a wind measurement from the ASOS station there, 66 knots, which is 76 miles an hour. And that was just due to thunderstorm winds. And so in addition to the potential of a tornado, as you said, we've got some very strong winds. And that's what concerns me as well. Even if we don't get a tornado with this, that we could have some very high wind gusts, certainly in excess of 65, maybe 70 miles an hour. Kylie, if you would, let's back out a little bit, just temporarily here, and we'll show you that we've got not one, but two supercells, long-lived storms that continue to track to the east-southeast, one in Cook County, one in Grayson County, and they are both going to impact areas down into northern Denton County, northern Collin County, and they'll continue south and east of there. So while you're not seeing any severe weather at the time, let's say in Hunt County, Delta County, Lamar County, you will as the evening progresses here. We don't believe that these storms are going to impact Tarrant County. There's an outside chance, though, that we could see these dip maybe as far south as northern Dallas County, but areas to the north, Denton and Collin counties, more under the gun for severe weather than Dallas and Tarrant counties, just based on the position, the location of these storms, and their general movement. So once again, repeating, we've got a new tornado warning now in effect for southern Grayson County, extreme southwestern Fannin County, and northern Collin County. And you said the expiration? 10:15 on that tornado warning. It's not a confirmed tornado, but we are seeing strong rotation located right around the Van Alstyne area. We'll pull out the scope again and to show you that to rotate. In fact, there could be two areas of rotation here. There's one that looks like that's just to the northwest, perhaps, of Van Alstyne. We've also got to keep an eye on this little couplet here around Weston now in northern Collin County. So multiple areas of rotation to keep our eyes on in this storm. Unfortunately, now we're at 9:30, so we're well past sunset. Obviously, it's dark outside. It's going to be very difficult for our chasers there to confirm what they're seeing here. If they see a funnel cloud, if they see a tornado, the likely clue is if we get lightning that lights up the sky, that may help with visibility here. But we can tell you this thing is moving to the southeast at 25 miles an hour. Van Alstyne 9:39, Anna at 9:46, Blue Ridge at 10:08, Trenton 10:10, Leonard 10:24. All of those locations, you need to be in your tornado safe shelter at this time. Tornado warning in effect until 10:15 this evening. Did get a report of power lines down, trees down on Highway 56 in South Maid. That has shut down the highway there. Also just got a report out of Gainesville, and that was an automated weather station, reported a wind gust about 5 or 10 minutes ago of 76 miles an hour. So that is in excess of hurricane force wind gusts that they experienced there in Gainesville with this storm. So very high wind gusts. Hail size, we've seen up to ping pong size size, that's about the largest we've seen so far in terms of the hail size with these. That's the only good news that we can give you. We haven't seen any of the giant hail yet, but both of these storms have rotation embedded within them. It's the more impressive rotation that we're monitoring right now with the storm here in southern Grayson County, and we could start to see some of this rotation showing up now in northern Collin County. And once again, we pull out the scope there. Kylie, we always have to pay attention to the chat sessions here minute by minute. Anything new there that you're seeing?
So the one thing that the National Weather Service continuing to reiterate, again, this tornado-warned storm in effect through 10:15 this evening. As Dan was just mentioning too, you see that bright green, kind of bluish-looking tint next to the red. Those are going to be two separate areas of rotation. One just to the west of the city of Weston, and one now approaching Highway 75 northwest of Van Alstyne. The other thing that I want to mention, again, Dan just kind of touched on the potential for larger hail. At this point, that extreme large hail that we've been talking about over the last couple of days, not seeing much of that, but half-dollar sized hail will be possible with this tornado-warned storm as it drops into far northern northeast Collin County. So I'm going to put this on loop one more time and kind of take a
you can kind of see that hail core there just to the south of Howell right now, but fortunately it's not the giant hail that we've been seeing here in recent days. It's a little bit smaller. But what we're more concerned about right now is that there is the potential for some developing tornadoes. So our hail core there, the darker blue colors you see there, right on 75 from Howell down to Van Alstyne, that's where we could be seeing potentially up to ping-pong-sized hail. The tornado warning outline, once again, that's the red box that you see here. We've got multiple warnings in effect. Severe thunderstorm warning is outlined in yellow. The tornado warning is a smaller warning polygon than the actual severe thunderstorm warning. So if you live anywhere from Dorchester to Howell to Van Alstyne, down into Collin County, Anna, Melissa, you folks in Salina are just out of that tornado warning polygon, but we want you to be on your guard there as well because you're very, very close to it. And this tornado warning does go down into Blue Ridge. Likewise, it includes, at least for now, a small portion of southwestern Fannin County as well, including Trenton and surrounding areas. So again, this is the area that we're really honed in on right now. Up and down 75 here from Melissa, just east of there to Anna, Van Alstyne, up towards Howell. We could have a couple areas of rotation here. Some very strong winds certainly being detected by Doppler radar. Oftentimes you can get some really strong downbursts with storms like this. We saw a wind measurement of 76 miles an hour in Cook County in Gainesville. That was about 10 minutes ago. So we've also got this severe thunderstorm warning in effect now, not only for Cook County, but that goes down. Is this a new warning that just literally came out?
Yes, the National Weather Service now extending that severe thunderstorm warning to include parts of Denton and Collin counties. And that current warning, and it's getting kind of confusing with all of the warning polygons, but see how that warning polygon is dipping a little bit farther into central Denton County. That's the newest area of concern, this newest warning now in effect until 10:30 this evening. So movement with this severe thunderstorm, and I'll track it out in just a second, is to the south and east at 35 miles per hour. Now with this storm, keeping an eye on the potential for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. So less of a hail threat. Again, still quarters could be possible as this storm drops to the south and east. And did I just say movement was at 35 miles per hour to the south and east? So if we get a storm track on this one, I'm going to draw it from the heaviest rain and the potential for hail there as well, moving into northern northeast Denton County and far northwest Collin County. So that's going to be the second part. We've been talking about those two separate supercells, Dan, right? So the one behind it, less of a tornadic threat, but still monitoring the potential for really strong winds.
Yeah, 70 miles an hour. And that's the transition that we thought could potentially take place as we head a little bit later into the evening. And we're there now from more of a large hail threat to damaging winds in excess of 70 miles an hour. So you folks that live in Argyle, Lake Dallas, Denton, Sanger, Pilot Point, Frisco now is under this severe thunderstorm warning as well for up to 70-mile-an-hour winds. And we did see a 76-mile-an-hour wind gust with this same storm in Gainesville. Now about 15 minutes ago, estimated arrival time there. You saw those cities there. We've also got the tornado warning that continues here for southern portions of Grayson County, northern Collin County, and for southwestern portions of Fannin County around the Trenton area. And again, multiple areas here that we're watching for rotation. These red and green colors indicate to us counterclockwise rotation. And in some cases, this rotation is right smack in the middle of very heavy rain, especially once you get up around the Van Alstyne area. And of course, we're always concerned in that case of a potential rain-wrapped tornado developing. So that would be something that would be nearly impossible to see, especially at this hour of the night, and it's moving to the southeast. And so that's why you see the orientation of this tornado warning box from northwest to southeast. That's the movement here. And if we put this into motion, you can see the general movement is going to carry it from Grayson County down into Collin County. And with time, we'll likely see the severe weather threat probably in the next 20 to 30 minutes move into Hunt County. So I think it's just a matter of time before you folks there in Hunt County get under a warning as well. Very high winds possible with this storm dropping south now through Denton County. You folks under a severe thunderstorm warning for wind gusts that could be up to 70 miles an hour. And certainly 70-mile-an-hour winds are going to break off tree limbs, some large ones, down power lines. We've seen that already up around South Maid. Highway 56 there shut down due to down power lines. This could even bring down some fences, cause some minor damage to roofs with the 70-mile-an-hour winds accompanying that. And that severe thunderstorm warning, again, is outlined in yellow. So that goes about as far south as Argyle, Lake Dallas, Frisco, Prosper, and McKinney is also in that severe thunderstorm warning. Once you get north of McKinney, then you're in the tornado warning here in northern Collin County, southern Grayson County, southwestern Fannin County. Again, folks are probably tuning in, tuning out. If you're just joining our coverage right now, this is not a confirmed tornado. It was issued based on strong rotation on Doppler radar that could be indicating to us a developing tornado here. We've had several reports throughout the evening hours of funnel clouds, rotating wall clouds. No confirmed tornadoes as of yet in Texas, in North Texas, I should say. We've had confirmed tornadoes with these storms when they were up in southern Oklahoma, but not in Texas as of yet, North Texas. And there, once again, is our velocity scope indicating the counterclockwise rotation. It doesn't look like we've got, as Kylie was mentioning before, anything really tight. It's still a little bit broad, but nevertheless, it's still pretty impressive. And certainly, there's also the potential here. These are very, very strong winds that are being picked up by Doppler radar a few thousand feet above the surface, and they certainly could lend themselves to producing very high wind gusts at the surface. So even if we don't see a tornado, there is a pretty good likelihood we're going to see some very high wind gusts, damaging wind gusts possible here in northern Collin County and southern Grayson County. Kylie, anything from the chat?
Yeah, Dan, just to reiterate exactly what you were saying, with this latest radar scan, the last couple of scans, this rotation has started to broaden out slightly. So that's exactly what you just said. That's what we were keeping an eye on. And this is turning more into a damaging wind threat. I wouldn't be surprised if we see gusts anywhere between 70, even upwards of 75 miles per hour, even if it's less of a tornadic threat embedded in this current tornado warning. Again, tornado warning is still in effect through 10:15, and that severe thunderstorm warning, well, let me take this scope off, but that severe thunderstorm warning just back off to the west, that is going to include portions of Denton County as well as portions of far northwest Collin County. That severe thunderstorm warning, as I put the radar into motion, is in effect through 10:30 this evening. And that's to account for the potential for very strong winds as well as hail up to the size of quarters. But I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see that hail threat kind of pulse up and then pulse back down. That's what we've seen with a couple of reports. In fact, just reading you a report, Dan, from the National Weather Service, just 3 miles south of Howe, so that's going to be Grayson County, about 10 minutes ago, hail reported up to the size of golf balls was reported there. So that was going to be between Howe and Van Alstyne. That's our tornado warned storm. But still, we're really focusing on the damaging wind threat. But again, there is the potential for larger hail as well.
Yeah, and I should reiterate, too, that our tornado watch has been extended until midnight tonight. Tarrant County was taken out of that tornado watch, but Denton County, Collin County, Dallas County, Rockwall County, all in that tornado watch until midnight tonight. There it is, the new watch, and it also now includes Kaufman County, Hunt County, Fannin County, and Lamar County down through Delta County and Hopkins County in a tornado watch now until midnight tonight. So it was extended 2 hours. Let's get back to the radar here, and we're tracking dangerous storms here across North Texas. They are north of Dallas and Fort Worth at this hour. A pair of long-lived supercells here. Both of them have rotation in them. The rotation in the Grayson-Collin County storm is a little bit more impressive, but fortunately at this point in time, we don't see an imminent tornado threat, but what we do see is the potential of some high wind gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour, and we're highlighting here, green is motion towards the radar, red is motion away from the radar, but what we look for is the green and reds to be right close together. That would indicate to us a really tight circulation. It's a little broader here, as you can see. There's a little gap between the green and red colors there. So, yes, we have rotation, but it's more broad in nature. But we also could be seeing some very high winds here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some more high wind gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour as the storm moves to the southeast. So tracking it there puts it at Cannon at 9:47, which is right about now. Blue Ridge at 10:07. Fayburg at 10:10, Celeste at 10:31, and Kingston at 10:37. And that's tracking right where the really core of high winds are right now, tracking those to the south and east, because there's several miles of rain ahead of those really, really strong winds. Let's broaden the scope here a little bit. Let's push back to the west now into Denton County here. This is the storm that produced the high wind gust of 76 miles an hour in Gainesville. That was a measured wind gust by an official weather reporting station there, an automated station, 66 knots, which equates to 76 miles an hour. So that's in excess of hurricane force. That was recorded about 20 minutes ago. This storm is also dropping to the southeast, and due to its movement, that's why at least half of Denton County now into northwestern Collin County has been placed under that severe thunderstorm warning for very high winds, or at least the potential of high wind gusts. Not everyone sees these gusty winds. They tend to be pretty localized in nature, but certainly there is a chance if you live anywhere here in this yellow polygon. That includes Denton, Aubrey, Corinth, Little Elm, Frisco, Prosper, those areas under the gun for these very strong wind gusts. 9:54 Sanger, Pilot Point 10:09, Oak Point 10:21, Little Elm 10:27, and McKinney at 10:47. Again, that's kind of tracking where we believe the core, the strongest winds are, moving that down to the southeast at roughly about 25 to 30 miles an hour. And with this motion here, that is going to bring more of North Texas under the gun for severe weather as we head from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock to midnight. And so we're going to continue to see our severe weather threat spread farther to the south and east. There's a potential that it gets into northern Dallas County and Rockwall County. A better potential that it's going to spread more through Collin County here over the next hour. Certainly Hunt County, you're going to be seeing a severe weather threat over the next hour as these pair of supercells continues to move down to the southeast. So once again, our severe thunderstorm polygons in yellow. Our tornado polygon here is in red. This is where we really want you to be in your tornado safe shelter. Once again, it's not a confirmed tornado. Radar indicated strong rotation that's broadened out a bit. About 15 minutes or 20 minutes ago, when the warning was first issued, we had an area of rotation that was a little sharper. It was a little bit more well-defined. It continues to kind of broaden out a bit here. You can see there's kind of a gap, so to speak, between these red and green colors. So that's indicating to us it's kind of a broad rotation, and not what we call that gate to gate that we look for, where red and green are butting right up against each other. But nevertheless, it still has our attention, our full attention here, because even if we don't get a tornado developing, we certainly have a high potential of very high wind gusts here in northern Collin County, high enough that they could be the equivalent of a low-end tornado in some cases. So certainly something we really want you to be on your guard for. Kylie, anything new from the chat session there?
Dan, we're really just continuing to reiterate the fact that that tornado warning still in place through 10:15 this evening. And not only are we concerned with potential rotation, that we've been monitoring that rotation kind of tightening up and then broadening back out, but that area of rotation, as this thunderstorm, the supercell, continues to progress to the south and east, basically right over the town of Melissa. So I'm going to take that scope back out once again, showing you where the green combines with the reds. We have seen tighter rotation with this storm, which is why we're really continuing to keep an eye on it, because it could ramp back up, tighten back up, and then broaden back out. So again, little bit of broader rotation right over Melissa, maybe just to the north and west. That's right over Highway 75 this evening. This tornado warning still in effect through 10:15. Dan, I want to take another just kind of updated track here as well, just because we have seen the potential for really strong winds just to the east of Highway 75, where you saw that brighter green. So strongest winds right now, if they continue on their current track, basically following right in that tornado warning polygon, here's what that latest track looks like as well. So again, the National Weather Service reiterating, watching broad rotation near Melissa. That's exactly what we just pointed out, and potentially seeing an enhanced area of stronger winds. Winds anywhere between 70, even upwards of 75 miles per hour at times will be possible. This storm also has the history of producing half-dollar sized hail, even golf ball sized hail at times. So watching for that larger hail potential as well, but really focused on the stronger winds, that enhanced wind area with this latest track on here.
Thank you. Yeah, and Melissa at 9:51, which is right now. If you're experiencing high winds, they would be right around Melissa. Blue Ridge at 10:11, Fayburg at 10:16, Leonard at 10:29, and Kingston at 10:42. So with Doppler radar, even up here in northern Collin County, we're not looking at surface winds. We're probably looking up a couple thousand feet at least at those 70 to 75 mile an hour winds, but there's certainly a high potential of mixing those down to the surface in terms of wind gusts. So the potential is there for those very strong winds just above the surface to mix down in terms of gusts here in northern Collin County, and also into northwestern portions of Hunt County as the storm continues to ramble off to the southeast. Largest hail probably denoted by the purple colors that you see there, southeast of Sherman. That's where we're likely seeing maybe up to ping-pong-sized hail just west of Whitewright, right around Tom Bean right now is where our hail core is. That's where the stronger reflectivity from our radar. Usually when you get the purple colors, that's not raindrops anymore. That's chunks of ice that are causing those higher returns on radar to show up. And so that, in all likelihood, is hail. I would imagine, too, that some of this is likely some larger hail on the east side of Van Alstyne right now in far southern Grayson County. And some of these hailstones could be up the size of ping pong balls. We have not seen any of the giant hail that we've been accustomed to now for several days, the baseball-sized hail and larger. But we've pulled out the hail scope there. There you go. There's the largest returns here right around Tom Bean, where we could be seeing ping pong-sized hail, maybe slightly larger than that. Our computer algorithm has been underestimating hail size consistently, so I wouldn't doubt at all that it's a little bit bigger than 1.5 inches 1.5 in diameter, probably closer to 1 3/4 or 2 inches. And we also showed the large hail a little farther to the south as well in southern Grayson County and in northern Collin County. In fact, let's slide that down, if you will, Kylie, just to show where we're also picking up some additional large hail heading down to the south. In terms of the hail size, again, we're likely talking about anywhere from quarter size to perhaps up to ping pong size. And you can see when the sweep goes through there, we're picking up some of that. There it is, Anna Van Alstyne in far northern Collin County. That's where we're likely, again, seeing the largest hail, and it could be up to the size of ping pong balls. So our tornado warning continues until 10:15 for northern Collin County, southern Grayson County, into southwestern Fannin County, including Trenton. Not quite into Leonard, but you folks in Leonard are certainly close enough that we'd like you to be in your tornado safe shelter as well. Still no confirmed reports of a tornado. We've got rotation there. That rotation, though, is not quite organized enough to indicate to us that we've got a tornado here, but certainly it is spinning. And in fact, as we put it into motion, you can see the rotation embedded within this storm here. This is a supercell that started up in Oklahoma. It's been persistent now for the last few hours, if not more than that. And it did produce some tornadoes up in southern Oklahoma a little bit earlier this afternoon. So that's supercell number 1. The other supercell, right on its trail there, on its heels, is now moving from Cook County down into northern Denton County here, where it has been producing some high wind gusts. We did have that measured wind gust in Gainesville of 76 miles an hour, and there's the potential of more of these 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts down through Denton County, even into northwestern portions of Collin County, namely Prosper, Frisco, over towards the McKinney area. You are all in that severe thunderstorm warning polygon. Farther south, we don't see a threat now into Tarrant County. Tarrant County is just far enough south that it looks like you're going to stay out of the path of the severe weather. We can't make that same call here in Dallas County. It's especially far northern Dallas County. There's a potential that we could see this threat move down into northern Dallas County in the next hour. And I think we're going to see more of a threat here across additional areas, central and southern portions of Collin County over the next hour as these storms continue to move to the southeast. And then eventually we're going to be talking about Hunt County and also Rockwall County perhaps getting in on the severe weather threat as well. Again, that tornado watch is in effect all the way until midnight tonight. The reason the tornado watch was issued as opposed to a severe thunderstorm watch is anytime the Storm Prediction Center feels there's a strong likelihood of even at least 1 or 2 tornadoes, they will opt to issue a tornado watch instead of a severe thunderstorm watch. Even though the primary threats are large hail and damaging winds, certainly there's a bigger threat of that than a tornado. They will opt for a tornado watch to cover the potential for one developing here. So that's kind of the big view here. You can see the 2 storms. In fact, there's actually another storm now that's developing behind these storms back in the Gainesville area. And there's even another one to the northwest of there into southwestern Oklahoma. So our severe weather threat is likely going to continue, I think, even past midnight for parts of North Texas. So this could be a very late night for parts of the area for a severe weather threat here. We're going to begin the 10 o'clock newscast here in about 10 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it over for the start of our 10 o'clock news. We'll be right back within a minute with another look at radar and a full update on our severe weather potential.
All right, Dan, just pausing for a second. Yes, wrapping it up here. That's it for this newscast. Here's Clarice with more news.
You're watching Fox 4 News.
Good evening. I'm Clarice Tinsley. A tornado tonight killed at least 1 person and injured dozens of others in the Panhandle. More on that in a moment, but first a tornado warning right now in effect for Collin County. Here is our coverage continuing with Chief Meteorologist Dan Henry. Dan.
Hey there, Clarice. Just had a new warning issued now. It includes a larger portion of Collin County here, severe thunderstorm warning. Just about all of Hunt County looks like it's now under a severe thunderstorm warning, and most of Rockwall County now. This is a brand new warning that literally just came out in the last minute here, severe thunderstorm warning. The expiration, I think you said 11 o'clock on that, Kylie?
The newest warning is in effect until 11 o'clock.
So 11 o'clock, and wind gusts certainly in excess of 60 miles an hour, maybe up to 70 miles an hour, with the potential of ping-pong-sized hail as well. So we've got two long-lived supercells that are producing the majority of our severe weather threat right now. Well, we're going to go ahead and track the first one here. It's moving southeast at roughly 30 miles an hour. So along the leading edge, that puts it in Leonard at about 10:08, Princeton 10:11, Farmersville 10:23, Greenville at 10:44, and Campbell at 10:54. The tornado warning also continues here for northern Collin County, southeastern Grayson County, and far southwestern Fannin County. There's rotation embedded within this storm, but so far we've not had any confirmed tornadoes. As we bring the scope out, you can see the green and reds, there's a gap between them here. So this rotation is kind of broadened. It's not as organized as it was before, but certainly there are some very strong winds, especially when you see those really bright greens and also the blue colors there from Whitewright down to just west of Trenton, back here into northern Collin County. Certainly we could see the potential of some 70-mile-an-hour plus wind gusts with this storm, even if a tornado does not develop here. So a high potential for damaging wind gusts. In addition to that, this storm does have some hail in it, up to the size of ping pong balls. The movement of this storm is to the southeast at roughly about 30 miles an hour. We've got another storm a little farther to the west there that is into Grayson County now. This one moved out of Cook County, now moving into Grayson County, and we've got a warning now in effect for much of the northern half of Denton County and for northwestern portions of Collin County, and it looks like a new warning now in effect for Cook County. So here's storm number 3 now, developing storm number 3, centered right around the Gainesville area. You folks there in Gainesville have been socked today with heavy winds, also torrential rain that's produced some localized flooding, and now you're under the gun for some more severe weather as a third storm has developed. In fact, if we look a little farther to the north and west, there are more storms up into southern Oklahoma. That one in particular, just northwest of Leon, just on the north side of Montague County, that's prompted a severe thunderstorm warning. So this entire cluster of severe storms is going to continue sweeping off to the southeast over the next several hours. So I have no doubt that we're going to see our severe weather threat persist beyond midnight tonight. That's when the tornado watch expires, but I do believe we're going to be dealing with a severe weather threat after midnight here. In fact, it could be well after midnight in parts of North Texas before we can sound the all clear. So there's our warnings from Cook County all the way east through Fannin County, down through a large portion of Denton County, Collin County now, Rockwall County, and Hunt County, all under severe thunderstorm warnings. Kylie, anything new?
Okay, so just a couple of new storm reports on our National Weather Service chat. I know we've been talking a lot about the potential for really strong winds, and yes, each of these severe thunderstorms could produce winds upwards of 70 miles per hour, but there have been a couple of larger hail reports too. The first just to the west-northwest of Sangerth, so that's going to be Denton County. We saw a hail report of ping pong ball sized, so that's going to be about 1.5 inches or so, maybe a little bit larger than that. As the storm continues to track to the south and east, again, that was just to, let's see, the west-northwest of the Sanger area. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see that hail core kind of pulse up and then pulse back down.
It looks like the hail core here, you can see it just to the northeast where you're seeing the colors become black there and some white. If you can pull out the hail scope, we can probably pinpoint that. It's just south of Valley View right now and into the Sanger area. So we've got some hail falling there with the storm. Could be up to the size of ping pong balls. And I bet if we slide that hail scope eastward, we're going to find more hail embedded within these storms. There's some around Pilot Point down to Aubrey. As we head a little farther east, we're going to definitely find hail as you head through the Van Alstyne area. There you go. There's some more impressive hail now around Melissa, Anna. This is likely probably ping pong sized hail, maybe a little bit larger than that. Looks like we've got some more. I bet you slide it up towards White Wright and Trenton based on some of those radar returns. We're going to find some more large hail up there, probably up to the size of ping pong balls here as well, up towards Trenton and, White Wright as well. So a lot of hail falling from these storms from northeastern Collin County, southeastern Grayson County, into southwestern portions of Fannin County right now. And that hail is heading southeastward, so it's going to be moving down into Hunt County here. Several warnings in effect. The tornado warning remains in effect until 10:15, so another 10 minutes or so. Rotation is still evident in this storm, but the rotation has kind of broadened out a little bit. So we are not concerned about an immediate tornado threat here, but certainly there could be some high winds, and some of the strongest winds now being picked up here south of White Wright around the Trenton area. That's where we have a high threat of some of those strong downburst to straight line winds there in excess maybe of 70 miles an hour. And the movement of these is all to the generally to the southeast here. We can expand the view. We don't think we're going to see any of the stormy activity move down into Tarrant County. So if you live in Tarrant County and points west and farther south, your severe weather threat looks like it is much, much lower. Never want to completely rule it out, but certainly if you live north of Dallas and northeast of Dallas, that's where the highest severe weather threat will be here. And these storms will continue moving southeastward, and as they do, we'll see additional areas under the gun for severe weather, including Lamar County, down through Delta County, Hopkins County, probably even down into Rains County here before midnight tonight. Strongest wind gust we've had so far was in Gainesville. That was a 76-mile-an-hour wind gust. No confirmed tornadoes in North Texas. We did have a couple of confirmed tornadoes up to the north of the Red River in southern Oklahoma. Of course, that big one out in Perryton and the Panhandle earlier today. Unfortunately, that one injured 75 people, and there's at least one fatality from that one. But we continue to monitor things here very closely. What we've witnessed this evening is winds picking up out of the southeast, and so that indicates to us the low-level winds picking up. That increases the low-level wind shear, and so that's going to enable these storms to continue to turn, to continue to rotate for at least the next couple of hours. And so that's why the tornado watch was extended until midnight tonight. It's a much lower threat than the wind and hail threat, but nevertheless, that threat still continues. We still could see the potential of a tornado or two as these storms continue to drop to the southeast at roughly about 25 to 30 miles an hour. It looks like now that we've got, again, storms that have developed a little farther to the northwest around Gainesville and another one farther north into southern Oklahoma. So all of this has to clear North Texas, and it's not going to be over by midnight. We're going to see severe weather persist, I think, beyond midnight tonight, especially if you live northeast of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It'll be a late night. Kylie?
Yeah, so just monitoring a couple of different things, Dan. The first area that I want to zoom in on, because the National Weather Service just in the last few minutes has gone ahead and kind of trimmed that warning, and that's to account for a couple of different areas of circulation. So I do want to go ahead and take this scope out just so we can all look at the same time. One area of circulation near Princeton, and another circulation circulation just west of Trenton. So as I zoom on in a little bit more, I wouldn't be surprised approaching the Trenton area if you're looking at 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts there as well. So still seeing a little bit of that wraparound circulation just west of the Trenton area. And as we zoom on down even more,
Are you a storm chaser?
slightly broader rotation near the Princeton area as well. So that's going to be just east of Highway 75. And again, Trenton also east of Highway 75. Movement with these storms is to the south and east, anywhere between about 25 and 35 miles per hour. Dan?
Yeah, thank you, Kylie. Once again, if you're just joining us right now, we've seen our tornado watch extended until midnight tonight. There were counties added to it, counties that were removed from it. There it is, Tarrant County and Parker County, and points to the south and west, no longer in that tornado watch. Added to it, we've got Fannin County now, Hunt County, Lamar County, Delta County, and Hopkins County. And the watch now goes until midnight tonight. Dallas, Collin, Denton County, all included in that tornado watch. Radar continues to show the long-lived supercells. They're kind of, though, clustering together. Rather than having two distinct supercells, this is kind of all merging now into a big complex of severe thunderstorms. And so we're going to see our threat, I think, with time, shift more to wind and hail rather than tornado. Of course, that's kind of been the case, really, throughout the course of the late afternoon and evening hours. But we certainly still are more worried about these high wind gusts and large hail, with the tornado threat being a lower one. But you can see we've got several severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, including Gainesville, Denton, Salina, McKinney, Frisco, Sherman, Bonham, Honeygrove, all the way down now as far south as Rockwall County, and even the Lake Tawakoni area now under a severe thunderstorm warning. Several different warnings under this entire area. And then we've got the one small tornado warning area that continues here for northeastern Collin County, southeastern Grayson County, into southwestern Fannin County. At one point, probably about 45 minutes or so ago, this was very, very impressive rotation, but that rotation is kind of broadened out a little bit. It's not as tight as it was about 45 minutes ago, although this one here is one that's more concerning for sure. We're talking about an area that's just to the southwest of Trenton here, certainly indicative of some very high winds, but we clearly see the rotation here, and that's something that we'll have to continue to closely monitor, because there's still a potential that we could see a tornado develop if this rotation increases and becomes a little bit better organized. Good news in that the thunderstorm activity looks like it's shifting to the east of Denton, but if you do live in northeastern portions of the county, you're seeing some hail falling right now around Pilot Point down to Aubrey. Not the giant hail that we've been seeing over the last several days, that spiky hail that could be up to the size of baseballs or even larger. This looks smaller. We're probably talking anywhere from quarter size, maybe up to the size of ping pong balls coming out of the hail core here. And there's additional hail farther eastward, especially as you head over towards Blue Ridge. Where you're seeing those purple colors like that, we know when we get a very, very strong radar return, that's strong. That's not rain. That is ice. That is hail that's being detected by the Doppler radar. And I think it's probably at least the size of ping pong balls here, probably more along the size of golf balls coming out of this storm here, northeastern Collin County, right around the Blue Ridge area. So that's our damaging hail core right there. And there's more hail as you head up to the north of there around White Wright into the Trenton area in southwestern portions of Fannin County. So damaging hail and also some wind gusts that could be in excess of 70 miles an hour. We haven't seen any more measured wind gusts that we did around the Gainesville area. Gainesville clocked a wind gust of 76 miles an hour. We haven't seen anything quite that high since then, but the potential certainly is there to see more of those gusty winds as these storms continue to move to the southeast. What we haven't been talking about is the intense rain, too. It is coming down here, and that will also produce at least a localized flash flooding potential across our northern counties here, as the rain here is likely going to be at least
2-inch-per-hour rainfall. Given the fact that we've got dew points still at this hour well in the 70s, these are the type of downpours that you get with a tropical system when you've got dew points in the mid to upper 70s. We actually set a record earlier today. We tied the highest dew point ever recorded at DFW with an 80-degree dew point. That's something that you typically only see in Miami or New Orleans or Corpus Christi, not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but indeed, that's what we saw. That's how much energy is still in the atmosphere here for these storms to tap into. So even though that we're almost 2 hours beyond sunset, I expect these storms to continue for at least a few more hours without really any signs of weakening, given that we still have a lot of juice, a lot of energy for these storms to feed off of and to tap into, and the severe weather threat will likely go past midnight tonight. The tornado watch, at least right now, ends at midnight, but I don't think our severe weather threat will. It will go beyond that.
All right,
is that a new tornado warning I just saw come out?
Newest tornado warning just issued for Collin, Fannin, Grayson, and Hunt counties. And this is because I've been zooming in on this rotation here with our scope, but starting to see that rotation tighten up a little bit more near the city of Trenton. So this severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located essentially right over Trenton. That's going to be 16 miles southwest of Bonham, and movement at this point is to the south and east at 15 miles per hour. So, yeah, kind of
slowing down quite a bit too. But just at home, green is motion towards the radar. Red is motion away from the radar, so very impressive rotation. It's certainly more organized than it was, centered very close to Trenton here. So if you live anywhere here around the Trenton area, into Hunt County, including Celeste, there's the outline of our tornado warning. It includes Trenton, Leonard, Wolf City, Celeste, Blue Ridge in far northeastern Collin County. That's a tornado warning polygon and developing tornado. Trenton, your estimated arrival time right now, 10:15. Leonard, 10:41. Lane at 10:52, and Celeste at 11:08. So it's slowed down. The movement had been 25, 30 miles an hour. Now it's slowed down to 15 miles an hour. And so that's why it's taking longer to reach those communities. But you need to be in your tornado-safe shelter. If you live anywhere in these communities, that means the lowest floor available, away from exterior walls or windows. I know oftentimes your first inclination is to try to look out the window, maybe even step outside to see what's going on. That is not a good idea at all. And here's something additionally I need to mention. This is embedded right in the middle of torrential rain falling right now. We're talking about sheets of rain coming down. You are not going to see a thing outside with this storm right now. So this is potentially a developing rain-wrapped tornado, very dangerous this time at night. And so we want you to take this very seriously. Again, it's not confirmed. Radar indicated rotation that the National Weather Service has prompted them to issue this tornado warning. It's moving southeast at 15 miles an hour, and it's located, at least the area of rotation, very close to the town of Trenton here in southwestern Fannin County. And they've put multiple counties in the warning, including northeastern Collin County, Hunt County, and Fannin County due to where it's located right now. And that warning goes not into the Farmersville area, just northeast of there, but it certainly does include Celeste and Wolf City, kind of this Highway 69 corridor here, stretching from Trenton down to the southeast. That is where we see the highest threat of a developing tornado. Rain-wrapped developing tornado here. Large hail falling right around the Blue Ridge area. That's where you're seeing these purple colors. That's more than likely at least the size of ping pong balls. And this is producing a tremendous amount of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. We've just removed those because we can put them on there temporarily just to show you that this thing is electrically active, and it is producing a lot
a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning activity. You can see literally hundreds of strikes here over about a 20 to 30-minute period, and there are hot spots. You can see these hot spots here from Whitewright down to Farmersville, up around the Honey Grove area, Pecan Gap, and another one around McKinney and Melissa and Prosper. Of course, with this many cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, we also get concerned about those touching off some fires as well. So two big storms that can kind of continue to kind of merge together, these long-lived supercells, and then we've got another smaller one developing to the northwest there around the Gainesville area. The biggest threat, once again, continues to be high wind gusts, 60, maybe up to 70 miles an hour, large hail, which I think potentially could in a couple cases be up to the size of tennis balls. We've seen reports of at least ping-pong-sized hail. Looks like the most impressive hail core right now is that one there in far northeastern Collin County. But we want to go ahead and bring the scope out showing the rotation once again. We want you in your tornado safe shelter. There's the hail cores from Blue Ridge up towards the Trenton area. In your tornado safe shelter if you live within this tornado warning polygon. And again, the more impressive rotation is showing up here where we see the red and green couplet around the Trenton area. It slowed down. It was moving about 30 to 35 miles an hour at times, but National Weather Service now has placed the movement more at 15 miles an hour. They've got the luxury, too, there at the National Weather Service. They can tap into additional radars. We've got a CASA radar network. It's a network of about 8 smaller radars that are dispersed around North Texas. We've got one up there in northern Collin County, so they're going to be able to get a better look at the low-level rotation in these storms. When we show you the rotation, we're showing you a rotation that's probably a couple thousand feet above ground level because it originates in southern Tarrant County. That's the powerhouse Doppler radar that all of us have access to, and that's what we're showing you. And that's something that we're continuing to keep a very close eye on here, that counterclockwise rotation right around the Trenton area, moving southeast at 15 miles an hour. And once again, it bears repeating, it is raining very, very intensely here in this area. So even if you were to go outside right now, you're not going to see a thing this hour of the night with that kind of heavy rain falling. And so if this tornado does indeed develop, it would be completely wrapped by rainfall. Very heavy sheets of rain as it's moving to the southeast at roughly 15 miles an hour. So even storm chasers on the ground really, unfortunately, have no hopes of seeing anything given the weather situation that we have on our hands right now. These storms continue to move to the southeast. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings that literally stretch from Gainesville, Sanger, and Denton. Although here in Sanger and Denton now, you're on the west side of the storm, so you're in the clear for right now. We'll keep an eye on that storm to your north, but it looks to me like it's going to bypass you. But a distinct severe weather threat continues from northeastern Denton County, Cook County, most of Sherman, most of the Grayson County area, Collin County, eastward into Hunt County, up into Fannin County as well. And each time we get a radar sweep like that, we can kind of see some of the hail embedded within these storms. We don't believe we've got any of the giant hail that we've been seeing here over the last week, that baseball-sized hail, but certainly there could be up to ping-pong-sized hail here, kind of right on the Denton and Collin County border there, just to the west and southwest of Salina, north of Prosper right now, and even larger hail as we head eastward around the Blue Ridge area and just east of there. That's where we're picking up those stronger radar returns. Kylie, anything new? You've got your eye in the chat session there. Any new information?
One thing that I want to mention first off, Dan, that severe thunderstorm that's right now starting to move into far northwest Collin County, approaching the city of Salina. I want to go ahead and take this velocity scope on here as well. Not necessarily looking for an area of rotation, but more so looking at an area of enhanced winds. In fact, 70 to 75 mile per hour winds will be possible with this storm that right now actually just looks like it's moving a little bit to the south and east of Salina, where the greatest, strongest wind threat is in place, I should say. Again, so a couple different warnings that we're monitoring that the National Weather Service also has their eye on. One of them does have that tornado warning in effect as well, and that's going to now include parts of northwest Hunt County and far southwest Fannin County. So we were monitoring that area of rotation near Trenton, Dan, so I'm going to go ahead and take our scope out and see if we can see the latest.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive wind signature, certainly, that you showed there around the Salina area. But now what we're watching is and there could be a couple areas, but the one that we continue to monitor here is now located right around still the Trenton area. The counterclockwise rotation there. And still some rotation extending a little farther south of there on the west side of Highway 69 in far northwestern Hunt County. That's why they've drawn kind of this tornado warning polygon a little wider to account for these multiple areas of rotation. 1024 Nobility, 1045 Leonard, 1057 Lane, 1109 Celeste, and 1121 at Kingston. A little bit difficult for us to give you precise estimated arrival times because we're picking up multiple areas of rotation here. It looks like the main area of rotation that we're concerned with right now is around the Trenton area, but certainly there's some very impressive winds that we're picking up on Doppler radar as well around the Salina area that could be indicating to us the potential of 70-mile-an-hour straight line winds. We did have that wind gust. The highest so far was in Gainesville of 76. Looks like we also have a little tornado warning here just north of the Red River. So we don't want to lose track. It's not only these two main supercells that we're tracking, but we've also got a couple of smaller storms behind them that are producing the potential of severe weather in Cook County and just north of the Red River into southern Oklahoma, including the city of Thackerville. And also, that's obviously everybody, you hear Thackerville, you think of one thing, and that's WinStar Casino just north of the Red River there in southern Oklahoma. Now, this is new, just a new severe thunderstorm warning issued that goes down into Dallas County now. So northern Dallas County now, including the city of Dallas, Richardson, Garland under a severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like that also includes Farmers Branch and Carrollton and Plano. You're in that severe thunderstorm warning. City of Louisville looks like they're in that. Why don't you go ahead and read that latest warning that just came across now?
Yeah, this newest severe thunderstorm warning, Dan, is in effect through, give me 1 second, just lost that on my chat, till 11 o'clock this evening. And this is to account for the potential for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and hail upwards of about 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. So the National Weather Service upping that hail size for this latest severe thunderstorm. Movement is to the south and east at 40 miles per hour. So we've been talking about different kind of movements and speed of these storms. This storm definitely moving a little bit faster than that tornado warned storm in far northwest Hunt County. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and do another track on this.
Well, let's actually put it into motion, if you would, just first before you do a track, Conley, just to show the general movement. Notice that there's also like some outflow here that is propagating ahead of the storm. It'll be interesting to see if we get additional development a little bit farther to the south. I'd also be interested to know just how strong that outflow is just ahead of the severe thunderstorms. But our primary concern here, as Kylie said, is the potential of high wind gusts, perhaps up to 70 miles an hour. And you notice that we're getting more southward movement now on these. That's why these warnings have been dropped south. So let's trace along the leading edge here, if you would, Kylie. Drop it down more to the south-southeast, I think, it looks like to me, and see if we can get some estimated arrival times. There you go. There's a look, and it's sped up, as you said, 40 miles an hour. That would put it in Allen at 10:31, Wiley at 10:45, Royce City at 11 o'clock, Union Valley at 11:08, and West Tawakoni at 11:25. That's when we think that the threat of very high winds will arrive at those various locations. And we still have the leading edge here tracking southeastward. That will also bring the threat of some high wind gusts. And behind there, we've got still the potential of a developing tornado. That's our tornado warning polygon here that stretches from southeastern Grayson County into the Leonard area, southern Fannin County, including Trenton, about as far to the southeast as Wolf City and Celeste. We can bring out the scope one more time and check on that rotation that's embedded within a very heavy area of rain right now. Again, it doesn't look to us like it's an imminent tornado threat. We certainly have rotation here that we continue to keep an eye on, and it's certainly strong enough and persistent enough that the National Weather Service continues the tornado warning for these areas. So we want you to be in your tornado safe shelter if you live anywhere from Trenton to Wolf City to Celeste, back towards Blue Ridge, even into the Farmersville area now, and perhaps even as far south as Greenville. Lowest floor available, away from exterior walls or windows, in a closet, a pantry, an interior bathroom. Those are generally the safest locations to be. Obviously, if you have a tornado shelter installed in your home, make sure you're there as well. I always advise people, if you've got some type of head protection, maybe you keep the bicycle helmets there in the tornado safe shelter, good idea, or to grab some thick blankets or cushions for head protection, always good idea as well. But this tornado warning continues for those areas, as well as the threat in all these other areas for very high wind gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour and perhaps up to the ping-pong-sized hail. We are going to begin our 10:30 newscast here. I think I'm going to be tossing it over to Clarice, and we'll be back momentarily with an update here on our severe weather. That continues.
All right, Dan, thank you, and thank you for watching our coverage of the severe weather event in North Texas. Our coverage continues at 10:30 with tornado warnings still in effect. More coverage right now from Chief Meteorologist Dan Henry. Dan.
Yeah, thank you, Clarice. We've got the tornado watch that continues for a good chunk of North Texas until midnight tonight. That's in red here. It includes Dallas County, Collin County, Denton County, back to the far northwest in Montague County, and now through Fannin County and Hunt County, and a severe thunderstorm watch in effect farther east from there. That will likely go beyond midnight tonight. In fact, their severe weather threat here in North Texas, in all likelihood, is going to go beyond midnight tonight. Kind of a messy situation here. We've got several severe thunderstorm warnings that continue and one tornado warning in the middle there. That's the one that's outlined in red here. It includes northeastern Collin, southeastern Grayson County, southern Fannin County, and northwestern portions of Hunt County. So that's where we've got the rotation that continues to move very slowly to the southeast. The slow movement also has us a little bit concerned because that prolongs the heavy rain in any one particular location, and so we could see a flash flood threat here in some areas as well. But in addition to this cluster of severe thunderstorms, it's kind of the two supercells that have merged. We've also got smaller storms located a little farther upstream there, one south of Gainesville in Cook County, and another one that's just across the Red River here. That has a tornado warning attached to it in southern Oklahoma, just across the Red River. It includes Leon and Thackerville, the home of Windstar Casino up there. They are actually under a tornado warning right now. Don't believe that's a confirmed tornado. Radar indicated rotation there in that storm in southern Oklahoma. Likewise, that's the same situation with our tornado warning polygon here. That includes several communities, including Trenton and Leonard and Celeste and Blue Ridge and Wolf City. We want you, though, to take that very seriously, even though it's not confirmed. Be in your tornado safe shelter. And you can see other areas of rotation as well. Broad rotation here, just south of Farmersville, just south of Highway 380 in eastern Collin County. So there's still the potential that we could spin up a tornado here in the midst of very, very heavy rain. So that's always kind of a worst case scenario at night, embedded within rain, to have a developing tornado. So kind of a worst case situation there. Fortunately, we don't believe we've got any tornadoes right now. We just have rotation that's being picked up on Doppler radar here. We've got also some large hail that's embedded within these storms Although I'm not seeing any more of those purple colors, the really high reflectivity. Hopefully that's a sign that at least the very large hail potential for the time being has come down a little bit. Still think we could see up to ping-pong-sized hail with some of these storms. And the movement is generally to the southeast. If we put this into motion, we can see the radar laps here, and you can see the motion is down to the southeast. Northern Dallas County is under a severe thunderstorm warning. Not seeing anything at this point in time. Rockwall County also under a severe thunderstorm warning. We are expecting the potential of some of these strong winds to make their way down into northern Dallas County over the next half an hour to 45 minutes. Kylie?
Yeah, Dan, just getting a couple of updates as far as power outages are concerned. That's also going to be kind of a dangerous part as these supercells have merged together and become very strong with winds upwards of 70 miles per hour, the potential for larger hail and very heavy rain and a whole lot of lightning. Right now, Collin County reporting 1,800 customers without power. Grayson County reporting 10,000 customers without power. And Hunt County about 1,600 customers without power. So definitely that's going to be kind of the other part of this complex of storms, the supercell continuing to drop to the south and southeast. Now, just keeping an eye on the National Weather Service chat as well. It looks like, all right, I want to zoom into one location near Farmersville. Dan, I'm going to take out this scope once again because could be another area of rotation that the National Weather Service is monitoring at this point.
You can see that right there. It looks like that we got to keep an eye on that as well. That could be the rotation trying to get a little bit better organized there, right around Highway 380, around the Farmersville area there in eastern Collin County. And there's actual a couple different areas of rotation here that we're watching, but the one that seems to be the most concerning right now is centered right around there. Is there a way for us to take Michael Beard's storm chaser shot? Looks like that something's on fire up in the Sherman area right now. I'll step out of the way. There you can see the flames there. Looks like there's water being put on those flames. Not sure what caused that, if that was a lightning strike there, but we've got crews on the scene there. That is Sherman, or Michael Beard, with that shot there of what probably is a lightning-induced fire, more than likely. You can see lightning literally lighting up the night sky there. It is putting on an incredible show tonight. There are hundreds of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes here occurring with these storms every 10 minutes. Okay, let's go back to radar here. Our thanks to Michael Beard for that shot. Looks
Dan,
like
I want to show you real quick an update as far as our watches are concerned. So it looks like parts of North Texas, far east, northeast parts of North Texas now under a severe thunderstorm watch through the rest of the evening, the rest of tonight.
Yeah, and that will likely go. Do you know an expiration time on that? That's got to go well past midnight for our eastern and southeastern counties, I would imagine.
That watch is in effect until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, till 4 a.m. And keep in mind, I don't think our severe weather threat here in North Texas will last that long. It goes all the way out into East Texas and Louisiana. So they're going to see their severe weather threat, but certainly I think we could see our severe weather threat persist till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, probably not though as late as 4 o'clock. The tornado watch will expire at midnight tonight. So here's a look at radar again. We've got these two supercells, long-lived supercells that have kind of clustered together now, and they've got some rotation embedded within them. The strongest, most definitive rotation around the Farmersville area. They will continue to pose a very high wind threat here. Wind gusts could potentially be up to 70 miles an hour, and some large hail, although the hail size appears to be coming down a little bit with these. We're certainly getting a lot of pocket change hail, maybe up to the size of ping pong balls in a few instances. And so far, we've not had any severe weather reports down, let's say, into southern Collin County or northern Dallas County or Rockwall County, even though those areas are under the severe thunderstorm warning. The storms appear to be moving a little bit more to the southeast
rather than due south. But certainly we can detect an outflow boundary or a gust front here, and those will kick up some very gusty winds. In fact, you're feeling those right now around Louisville. They've cruised through the Plano area, and that gust front is about ready to blow down into northern Dallas County, Farmers Branch, Carrollton, over towards the Richardson area. I'm sure there's going to be some gusty winds in excess with perhaps 40 miles an hour with that gust front as it blows down from Collin County and Denton County into Dallas County. Torrential rain coming down here, at least 2-inch per hour rainfall rates falling with these storms, as we still have that tropical-like air mass in place. Dew points well in the 70s, so these are the type of downpours that you get with a tropical system when the atmosphere is chock full of moisture like it is right now. Kylie's got the scope out again. You can see our counterclockwise rotation right along Highway 69 here. Just to the south of Celeste. So this is an area we'll continue to monitor very closely. Of course, this rotation is showing up embedded within very, very heavy rain. So if we do get a tornado that develops, it would be wrapped in rain. And of course, we're always concerned with that type of situation, especially this late at night when we're already well past sunset. So timing that out, that rotation would be in Wolf City at 10:46, Greenville at 11:05, Commerce at 11:20, and Cumbie at 11:36. And it hasn't just been one area where we're seeing rotation. We've been detecting multiple areas of rotation. And so this is a really tricky spot for us to be in, and you can see what we're talking about here. There's one area of rotation down into eastern Collin County. In fact, we're seeing some very, very bright greens here, so there's some strong winds just above the surface here, right on the Collin and Hunt County line. So these are probably up a couple thousand feet, but it's highly likely we could see some of that wind mixed down to the surface in terms of wind gusts in excess of 60, maybe as high as 70 miles an hour. So high winds and certainly some counterclockwise rotation around the Farmersville area to keep in mind, and also up around Celeste is where we saw that other area of rotation. And all these storms are dropping to the southeast here, and so that's going to bring severe weather shortly into Rockwall County and into southern portions of Hunt County. Looks like we've got new warnings now that stretch through Delta County and also Hopkins County now. That's our latest warning. But tracking this, the leading edge of these storms southeastward, that puts it in Royce City at 10:50. The leading edge of the storms in Allen at 10:57. Wiley at 11:10, Rockwall at 11:24, and Wills Point at just after 11:30 tonight. Again, tracking the leading edge of these severe thunderstorms that could produce wind gusts at least 60 miles an hour, perhaps as high as 70 miles an hour. Kylie, have we gotten any reports of any more high wind gusts, any wind damage?
You know, there's a couple of delayed reports, Dan, that I want to mention. There was a report just to the north and west of Sanger, and Dan has been speaking about the potential for larger hail as well. We have a report just before 10 o'clock, so again, this was a while ago, but just before 10 o'clock of hail up to the size of teacups. So very large hail near the city of Sanger. Wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some photos coming in on social media as well from that larger hail. Of course, that hail threat now out of the Sanger area, but because this storm does have the history of producing that large of hail, I'm going to go ahead and take our hail scope out and see if we can see some other areas that could be producing some hail. So at this point, maybe just east of Highway 75 and between McKinney and Allen, some larger hail, maybe up to the size of ping pong balls, golf balls. That's going to be just to the south and west, that largest hail core of the city of Princeton. If we track our hail scope a little bit more, right where we're watching showing a couple of areas of rotation as well in far northwest Hunt County. It looks like right just to the west of Highway 69, maybe some larger hail as well, potentially up to the size of golf balls, up to the size of ping pong balls. So that's going to be kind of the secondary threat as far as these storms merge into a little bit more of a cluster as they shift to the south and east. Yes, still really focused on the potential for strong winds anywhere between 60 and 70 miles per hour. That's going to be the latest threats from the National Weather Service with these warning polygons. Potentially some larger hail just south of Highway 380. You can see that latest scan ramping up that hail core, potentially up to the size of ping pong balls, up to the size of golf balls, just to the north and east of Nevada as well. So that's going to be north and west of Caddo Mills.
Yeah, right. And I'm also seeing they're still investigating Grayson County, the South Maid area, where they had some very heavy wind damage there, down trees and power lines, and that is still causing some concerns there. And I saw a slew of pictures from the Sanger area of what you were talking about, Kylie. So I did see lots of photos of some very large hailstones that fell there around 10 o'clock tonight. Looks like some of the more impressive hail right now showing up around the Tioga area here, southeastern Cook County. That's probably at least the size of ping pong balls. But again, all these storms are moving to the southeast. Fortunately, we don't believe we've had any confirmed tornadoes. We certainly have had some wind damage in Grayson County and in Cook County as well. Cook County, there was at least one building that lost its roof, some downed trees and power lines there. And you can see here we've got that tornado warning that continues for a small portion of northwestern Hunt County, northeastern Collin County, and also southwestern Fannin County. We're going to get back to weather coverage here momentarily, but I'm going to toss it over to Clarice for an update. Clarice?
All right, Dan, thanks. We're going to take a quick break right now. More severe weather coverage coming up. Stay with us.